rolling back the years seeing some of these guys back in action over the course of the afternoon, and fair play to them all, because they've certainly contributed some excellent sevens play during the course of the afternoon. And you can see Graham Dodd's cutting quite an animated figure, pointing and gesticulating in the direction of Bruce McNeil. So yeah, I think they're going to enjoy the next 15-20 minutes or so. And there you go, clash of the titans to begin this final, with Dodds and McNeil both going up for that high up and under, and McNeil just taking a step or two backwards there. First set piece as the ball trundles into touch, just a few metres away from our commentary position. We're under the framework of the filming tower, just underneath the very bottom of that. That was played in there from Kelso's point of view from Willie Tweedy. Ball goes loose. Archie Barber wants to get a quick touch in the final. Kelso then looking to try and get just beyond the 22. Duncan Smith is brought to ground just in a central position on the 22, picked up by Ross. Looks for options towards the right hand side. McNeil with a touch is able to offload to Robbie Tweedy. He's crowded out there by 2 or 3 Melrose players, and a few of them just taking a moment or two to get back to their feet just now. So Kelso with plenty opportunity to get hands on the ball in the early stages of this final. No scoring if you're just joining our coverage of the 101st playing of the Walkerburn Sevens final. Picked up by Scott White, referee though signalling the Melrose infringement. The penalty going by way of Kelso, and a chance for them perhaps to launch this one into Melrose territory. No score. Back to Sam.
No score as well, but you can see a lot of players really wanting to get their hands on it early. Kelso, we kind of knew their game plan. We've alluded to the age and probably the lack of physical fitness compared to guile and knowledge Melrose have. So Kelso's is very much keep the ball alive, keep it moving, make people hit collisions, make people have to recycle round, make them move. You can see Scott White and Cal Anderson doing a lot of running right now to get the back line organised there, but Bruce McNeil likewise acting as probably a scrum half for the first time in his career, standing at the base of the ruck instructing his players around him, but in the end he picks up and goes it straight. But Kelso very much keep the ball alive and keep the Melrose players moving. Prodded
forward by Graham Dodds, but Kelso gather once again. Robbie Tweedy trying to get some room down that right hand side, just tries to get past the scoreboard directly opposite us. So we're facing across the pitch. We can see the 72 just up to our left hand side. Ball goes loose. McNeil then prods it forward. The referee once again, after the ball ricocheting off a Melrose leg, just whistles once more. So this final's really still to get off and running, with Kelso having many touches of the ball. Melrose have been a bit of a stop-start participant in the final, without too many opportunities to really test the resolve of this Kelso defence.
And I think what's quite interesting is they both have very different paths to the final. Obviously Kelso and Selkirk were in the same pool stage. They had their first tie of the afternoon against each other. So Kelso's big match-up, looking at the scores that they went through today, was against Selkirk in their first outing. That got them up to speed. Melrose had probably a bit of an easier afternoon into their introduction with it, because they had their local derby group as it played out against the YM and Earlston, so they got a bit more time to feel their way into the tournament. That probably worked in their favour. But then they had a semi-final against Heriots, who did look the part coming into this tournament today. A very well deserved win that they ended up winning 26 points to 21, so that was a tough tie for them. Kelso came in 26-0 into this final, so it's kind of vice versa. One team had to start hot and keep themselves alive. The other team got to grow into it. So can Melrose keep themselves up for 2 big ties in a row and have Kelso still got something in the tank?
Melrose then, first real opportunity for them to string a few passes together. Matty Bertram is devoured into the tackle, and again Melrose trying to just inject a little bit of pace into the attack there, but nothing going on this occasion nothing doing for Graham Dodds, as he couldn't take the ball into the midriff there. The referee now signalling the knock on after Kelso had a brief moment of advantage there. Duncan Smith gets back to his feet. Still no score in this 101st Walkerburn Sevens final. Archie Barber again just trying to wrestle his way away from those pale yellowed jerseyed Melrose players. Melrose with the little tap and go again. The likes of Scott White trying to lead the charge. Douglas Dodds it was with the initial carry, and the ball again is with the Melrose players as once more they get the little tap as Kelso infringing, not releasing Scott White. There's a delicate kick up and under, and again Dodds is underneath that one, and that was an excellent take from Dodds, and he's across the line. Harvey Ross tracked the ball all the way with Graham Dodds. Dodds watched the flight of the ball. He was practically on the try line. He certainly landed with a bit of a thump, and the try is awarded. Scott White now in possession of the ball for the conversion attempt. A slightly more unorthodox Graham Dodds score, and he's making his way back. I don't think he's hurt himself. Scott White, on the other hand, is just wide of the uprights with the conversion attempt. 5 points to 0, and I think Graham Dodds would quite happily watch that one again.
I think Graham Dodds will be running off to the touchline now to text Stuart Cameron saying, have you got the footage, can I see it? But he's probably not been many recipients of the up and under on the far touchline to then get over the try line.
Melrose again looking just to bring on some reinforcements. Andrew Nagel then at the back of this line-out, one of the players aiding the jumpers as the ball again a little bit untidy in the heart of it there. You could see Bruce McNeil trying to ensure that Kelso can get off and running, which they do now down the right hand side, and Kelso, player on the ball, just looking all the way back towards the referee to see if that was going to be a legitimate score. McNeil cross on that right hand side in for a try, and Kelso are back on level terms, 5 points all, with a break down the right hand channel, and Melrose just had no answer for a burst of pace around the halfway line. 5 all the score line, and the conversion attempt then, is it going to brush across the post? No, it's through the sticks and over the bar, and it means that Kelso then going into the break have a 2 point advantage. They lead by 7 points to 5.
Billy McNeil was the one that ended up putting the ball down there on the far side. A great play from himself. It's exactly what they wanted to do. They knew they had the pace. They know they've probably got more of a physical in terms of mobility aspect than the others have.
Billy McNeil's try then, Graham Dodds having earlier opened the scoring for Melrose with a try. The second half about to get underway. Kelso then will have the kick-off, and again the players just watching on now for this restart, beginning off the second half. And it's launched forward there with a bit of pace and height to it as well. Tweedy then with the kick-off, and Melrose have it now 5 metres from their own try line, pretty much underneath the posts. Duncan Smith though with the Kelso tackle. Melrose still in possession of the ball, and Matty Bertram with an early touch in the second half. Rolling to the ground there, Scott White is able to plant the ball back. A second little grab and go there from Ian Chisholm. Back it comes again. Melrose looking to try and steady themselves on the edge of the 22, trying to evade challenges coming in the black and white jerseys of these Kelso players. Now that the battering ram comes through there in the form of Craig Greer of Melrose, but he's stopped and forced backwards eventually as he offloaded. The latest carrier there going to ground was Matty Bertram, and back once more towards Greer. Tumbles to the ground there, hauling at him there is Duncan Smith, but it's back through the hands once more of Bertram. Plenty of opportunities and touches for these Melrose players. It's played off the deck, ball's allowed to bounce once there. He managed to grab it just in time there, Callum Anderson, and carries the 10 metre line once more. Remember, changing direction, so Melrose now playing in these pale yellow jerseys from right to left in this second half, and Kelso look to have the put in here. So 3 on 3, the referee in the Raging Pool branded pink top with his back just facing us at the moment. Second half, Melrose 5, Kelso 7, the scoreline at the 101st playing of the Walkerburn 7. Into the scrum it goes then. Scrum half is immediately caught there by Chisholm, who comes through. Ball though eventually comes back on the Kelso side. Tweedy with the long look pass out, looking for a bit of width on the left hand side was Duncan Smith. Then racing on to it goes Robbie Tweedy, up and over the halfway line and then caught around the 10 metre line. The assistant across on the far side with the raised flag. No change in the scoreline since half time, an increase in the wind, and the crowd watching on this narrow final between Melrose and Kelso, with the point apart men 2 points in front. Melrose kick into Kelso territory. Was caught in the breeze there, just held up somewhat. Kelso are looking to try and weave their way out of the initial line of Melrose defence, out of trouble. Taken on once again by Smith, up and over the halfway line, caught by the 10. Nice little offload then towards Tweedy. Kelso are still looking to find ways into that 22. Barber then carries and offloads towards Bruce McNeil. Back then to Smith once more. They've an opportunity for Cranston on that left hand side, and he's going to drift in and touch down underneath the posts for the first score of this second half. And given it's been a relatively low scoring game so far, with Kelso now leading by 12 points to 5 and a conversion in front of the sticks, that could well be crucial. So Kelso, having never made a final here at the Walkerburn Sevens, in their maiden final, they at the moment are in pole position to lift the trophy. Melrose now looking with a little bit more urgency to try and break the rear guard. Callum Anderson then up towards that 10-metre line. Two players, first Barber, then the secondary one was Cranston, able to bring him down. Applause from the Kelso players because they knew that was a significant tackle, because Anderson was into full running there just prior to the halfway line. That tackle, that combination of players was essential to slow him down.
Yeah, and I think it was really good play there by the young Kelso outfielder. He had such a good guile to keep his arms moving in the collision. He wrapped up Cal Anderson, then he started to poke and prod the ball, make him dislodge it. That's what caused the knock on. It feels like a very short second half due to the action, but Kelso have just punted the ball out and the final whistle has gone.
The referee, signalled that Kelso could play that one into touch across on the far side. 14 points to 5 is the final score here at the 101st Walkerburn Sevens final. Congratulations to Kelso, having never played in a final before here at Walkerburn. They've run out winners by 14 points to 5. Well done too to Melrose for coming here with some of the old stagers, some players from yesteryear who always enjoyed success when they were playing at their peak and the peak of their powers. They were an exceptional sevens side. Well, we got more than glimpses of that this afternoon. 14 points to 5, the final score.
Let's go!